you suck at multiverses? Well, I probably can't fix it, but I can give you some advice. So I'm just gonna go through in alphabetical order all characters in the game and giving you some tips on how to beat literally all of them. And let's just get started with Arya. Arya doesn't have many tools to deal with projectiles, so if your character has projectiles, it's often very strong against her to just spam their projectiles, really. Another tip I can give is to DI inwards when she does her up special. Doing this will make it harder for her to hit her side air after up special, which is often the thing that you die to while fighting Arya, and doing this can cause it to miss more than you would, think, maybe. Banana Guard. I recommend being on the lookout for side specials once you're at higher percents, because they really like spamming that move due to it killing so early, but it's also very punishable if you're ready for it, so just be ready for it. Against Banana Guard, you also kind of have to play it a little slow, because his hitboxes are just that big that they just win over every character's hitboxes basically, so you just really need to play patient and wait for him to click something stupid that you can then punish. And don't try to just throw in your own hitbox, because you are probably the one getting hit, unless you're like Wonder Woman. Batman. One thing I found to help deal with Batarang is that if you dodge it once, you actually can't get hit by it again by that same Batarang. Batmans really like to throw it around and then just have it spinning around them forever, but if you dodge it once, you can actually, just go in. Another thing that could help is having the Reflect Projectile perk, which if you parry the Batarang, then gets reflected and they can't pick it up again. Because if you just parry a known Batarang without the perk, you're actually in a state of disadvantage, because you are just now sitting there, you just parried it, but they're probably already approaching you. So I wouldn't really think about parrying the Batarang if you don't have that Reflect Projectile perk. So yeah, I would recommend that against Batman. So just having a set with that perk is really useful. Also for a lot of other characters. Black Adam. When it comes to fighting Black Adam, you really shouldn't be trying to fight him in the air, because he gets so much reward from hitting one of his aerials, and they all have so much range and knockback. However, his ground moves are generally more punishable, so make sure to watch out for those when he's on the ground. Then when you do get him into a combo, he gets combo pretty hard due to his size and weight, so just make sure to, make the most of your openings and be patient. Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny players often like to jump up in the air and use safe, and if you spot them doing this, you can actually often jump in and hit them while they're falling down to the ground, getting ready to hit the safe. Also, any move that has armor break will instantly break safe, and I see a lot of bugs being caught off guard by this, so just make sure to remember what moves on your character has armor break so you can instantly break the safe. Finn has a pretty reliable seer to death that they often try to spam on you, but if you DI down and in, it will actually be pretty hard for them to hit, so just make sure to be ready for that one. One thing that you also need to learn when playing against Finn is to never dodge in. It is very hard for a lot of the cast to actually punish any of his moves on the ground, so, just play patient. Also, if Finn is charging a move on the ground, it's kind of impossible for him to deal with projectiles, so just throwing those out when he's charging a move on the ground is very useful. Garnet. The big thing with Garnet is that her hitboxes are very big and very active, but she's also kind of harder to punish than you might think. However, she can't really rush you down on that well, so just taking it slow and waiting for them to make a mistake is a pretty reliable strategy. Also, make sure not to dodge in after she does her jab, because often Garnet is prepared for this and will then throw out a strong move in the direction that you're dodging into to punish or dodge. So just be ready for that. Gizmo. Playing against Gizmo can be really hard if you don't have a tool to deal with car, which if you didn't know, you can actually destroy the car with any move that does 10 damage, or if you just, do 10 damage to it. And if you do this, it won't explode and it won't damage you. But this can obviously be pretty hard to actually do, because Gizmos are ready for this and then can try to hit you out of it when you're trying to break it. But just know that you can break it. Another piece of advice I can give you is to play aggressive against Gizmo. Gizmo doesn't have many weaknesses, but I'd say he does have worse boxing options than a lot of other characters. So I just like to stay close to him and not let him breathe, really. And then when you get him off stage, be ready for the arrows, and then you can maybe try to edge guard him if you're just ready for the arrows. Harley Quinn. Many Harley players love spamming down tilt, which in many cases is pretty unpunishable due to the punish window and how low she is to the ground. She actually dodges a lot of moves, but they love to spam it so much that I actually find myself parrying it quite often. Now, it can be hard to react to, but if you really have that keen eye out for it, you can react to it sometimes and then, reactively parry. Another thing they love to do is whenever they ring you out, they place a box instantly, basically, and you can actually just walk into that box after dying and still invincible, and it will just destroy it without you taking any damage. Other than that, my only advice for beating Harley is just to pray that your opponent lacks basic motor functions, because that character is so easy. I hate the Iron Giant. Iron Giant is currently not in the video game, so I can't really help you out with this one. I guess wait up. He's not in the game. I can't help you. I'm sorry. Jake. I literally have seen one Jake, so I have no fucking clue what he does. Hopefully they buff him or something, because he is really bad right now and I have not seen like any of them. But I think if I were to give some advice, I would just say to watch out for side air, because in the open beta the side air was super strong, but I don't even really know how strong it is right now. Jason. First off, make sure to punish all of his grounded moves. Pretty much all of Jason's grounded moves are very easy to punish if you're just ready to dodge them. So, you know, just be ready for that. Other than that, you should know that whenever he uses his buff to gain the white health armor, all armor break moves can still break it, even if it doesn't, you know, he doesn't have like the armor effect, but armor break moves will instantly break it. And also, if he uses a move, that will also remove the armor. LeBron's main tool is, of course, ball, but if you can somehow deal with that with your own projectile or an anti-projectile move, I highly recommend that you just use those, because without ball, LeBron really isn't very strong. So if you can just make sure that he doesn't get a bunch of balls just set up on the stage, then you're pretty good. But if there is a bunch of balls on the stage, it becomes pretty hard to move around like that, and you're probably gonna get comboed. But in its current state, LeBron also isn't very strong, so it's pretty sad. I hope they buff him. But yeah, just deal with ball and you should be fine, really. Marvin the Martian. I don't have much advice for Marvin, other than to use the reflect projectile perk that I mentioned against Batman, because it's actually pretty useful against him, as well as any other move that like reflects projectiles and such. But I wouldn't worry about just parrying projectiles and such, because just removing projectiles from the battlefield isn't that useful against him, but reflecting them can be pretty good. Also, do not jump above him. If you jump above him, you're just gonna get up tilted and you will just be hit. So do not even bother with like trying to jump in and do a down air or something, because it will not work on specifically Marvin. Morty. One of Morty's best moves is the laser thing that he shoots with his neutral grounded attack or his neutral air, and he shoots this all the time, but it is on a cooldown, and if you can keep track of that cooldown, it actually becomes pretty manageable to just anticipate when he's going to shoot it and then play around that. And if you know that they love to spam it every time it comes off cooldown, you can actually spot it going off cooldown and then move in, wait for them to shoot it, then dodge in and then punish them. Reindog. Reindogs can either sit at the end of the stage and racking up a bunch of passive damage, or he can use one of his very strong approach options like aerial side special or dash attack. And you have to learn to deal with both of these states. Whenever he's camping, you really just need to be able to spot small little openings so that you jump in and use your own projectile if you have them, or just move in and try to start a combo. But other than that, you just need to play patient when he's doing that. But when they decide to move in, you obviously need to be on the lookout for punishable moves. Now, this maybe isn't the most helpful tip in here, but I honestly struggle a lot with fighting Reindog, so I can't really help that much. Rick is really strong at long-range interactions, but is also really good up close. So I like staying at kind of a mid-range, enough to a point where I can dodge in and punish his moves, but also not too close that he can just click a fast move and start a combo on me. Similar to Morty, he also has some moves that are on cooldown that he likes to click sometimes, so just, make sure to look at his cooldowns. Shaggy's can be pretty predictable at times with his big moves, so going for a parry isn't a bad strategy against him generally, but also you just kind of need to respect Shaggy. He basically doesn't have a single bad move, and punishing him can be very hard. Also, if you see that the Shaggy you're fighting has Hangry Man perk, whenever they pick up a sandwich and start a charge, they will get it extremely fast, and it's very likely that you can't punish it, but I would still say that you need to try to be punishing whenever they try to charge, even if they have Hangry Man. Hello, just jumping in here to say that if you are enjoying this video, please do subscribe and like. It helps out a small channel like me a lot, and also check out my Twitch. I'm gonna be streaming in a bit, so yeah, do that. And also, I really want to say thank you for the insane growth I've had. Like, I've gone from 30 subscribers to 700 subscribers within a month, and I'm so thankful. But anyways, let's get back to the tips, starting with Steven Universe. Most of the Stevens I've fought are pretty much unable to deal with any pressure, so from my experience, just rushing down Steven with some sort of approach option is very effective. But honestly, I haven't seen any good Stevens really, but I know that he's strong, but again, I haven't seen really any good Steven players, so I hope you have the same luck as me and you don't meet any of the good ones, because he seems very strong right now. Stripe. First thing I have to mention is the bomb. Many Stripes love to spam the bomb, but from my experience, it's actually pretty dodgeable, at least in neutral, so just make sure to watch out for it. Another thing that you need to be aware of is his little swipe thing here, because it is insanely strong and can combo into many things and can kill you super early if you're not ready for it. And it's definitely one of Stripe's better moves, so yeah, I'm just telling you to watch out for it when he's on the ground, because it also has quite a lot of reach and such. Superman obviously gets comboed super hard, so if your character can abuse some stupid combos on him, make sure to have that ready and trained. Also, for some reason, they love to spam Sniper Punch, even in ones where it's very easy to dodge and hit him out of it like this. Now, in 2s, it's a lot harder to deal with Sniper Punch, but I would still say that if you're just ready for it, you can be ready to hit him out of it before he hits you. Also, when you're fighting Superman, please do not jump out of combos when you're off stage. Do not jump. Do not jump. Do not jump. Taz. Against Taz, I just recommend keeping your distance and letting him throw out unsafe moves, which you can then punish. But also be wary of his super strong approach options, like his Nair, which does almost 30 damage, which is fucking insane, by the way. Another thing to watch out for is his Tornado and his Cloud. If you have projectiles, then that's a very good counter for it, and basically the only advice I have for those two moves. And if you don't have any projectiles, well, sucks to suck, I guess. The Joker. Against Joker, you probably need to play patient, because if you get impatient, he will probably just roll his face on his controller and you die at 40 by getting hit by a jab like 40 billion times. You also need to be prepared for the card throw, especially when he has the Joker's wild perk. You should always be looking at his cooldowns so you know when he has the cards ready, so you can dodge them right when he has them, especially again if he has the Joker's wild perk, because this is a homing kill move, a homing super fast homing kill move. God, I don't like that. I don't like this move. Tom and Jerry. When fighting Tom and Jerry, I often like to just rush them down, which works sometimes if they're the type to just spam Jerry Slingshot, because without Jerry, Tom is actually pretty vulnerable, but if they're the type that doesn't really spam it all that much, Rocket is a super annoying tool to deal with because it just stuffs out approaches super well. So just be ready for that. Also, to kill Jerry, you need to do 10 damage to kill him. So, you know, if you didn't know that, just know that if you do 10 damage, he will die. Velma. I literally have not seen a single Velma this entire game since launch. I'm not joking. I haven't seen a 1, not in 2s, not any. I have not seen any. So I'm just gonna say buff Velma, Jinkies or Jinky Wonder Woman. First off, I would also like to say, fuck Wonder Woman. Okay, now to the tips. From my experience, a lot of Wonder Woman players struggle when I just, rush them down with an armor break move. Now, all characters don't have armor break moves, obviously, but if you do have it, you can kind of just rush her down because she's not quite as fast that she can deal with super fast approaches other than using armor, but there's a lot of things that let you be able to break armor, like if you have an armor break approach move. But even if you don't have an armor break move in your kit, there are some perks that you can use that will let either fully charged moves or dash attacks break armor, which are both pretty useful against her. But outside of that, Wonder Woman is just so good that I don't really know that much counterplay to her other than just be better than your opponent and make sure to be ready for the armor moves and use some armor break moves. And then, I don't know, like go pray. Have you prayed today? Because if not, you will die at 40. But yeah, thanks for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!